Hi, my name is Lakia Antwine. I'm going to talk about enhancing or just language development for infants and toddlers. I worked with infants and toddlers for many years, and while working with infants and toddlers, I learned that they learn from their environment and from people in that environment. Now, also, that learning happens through everyday interactions. Good teaching practices expand children's understanding of concepts by offering new information, extending learning opportunities, and observing children's existing knowledge base. It is only through interactions in the environment that language is acquired. The key interactions that enhance language development include eye contact, shared reference, communication loops, child-directed speech, verbal mapping, and says a lot more, but it's the ones I'm going to cover. Adults begin communicating with children through establishing eye contact and share reference. These face-to-face positions provide opportunity for the teacher to closely observe a child's facial expression. Children benefit from being able to see how the teacher's mouth moves and forming words, as well as share eye contact. In establishing eye contact, teachers need to position themselves so that the infant can see the teacher's face as he or she talks. This interaction becomes more complex due to toddlers' short attention span and their energy. A teacher must closely monitor a toddler's attention and make adjustments in the interaction to either maintain that attention or allow the child to move on to another activity. All pattern of interactions are a communication loop. Engaging infants in a conversation like turn taking establishes the pattern for future, more complex conversations and helps children develop the neural networks in the brain that contribute to language. With infants, a communication loop is first initiated through eye contact and share reference. Rather than a verbal response from the child eye contact and focus of shared reference serve as an active responses in its communication loop. During the adult-toddler interaction, providing wait time is critical to encourage a toddler to respond. Maintaining a communication loop with toddlers require specific techniques to keep conversation going, such as facial expression, lean close, point to the activity that you're doing together, and use simple words like look or your turn or just ask what's happening. Repeat what you said and use questions that show your interest or encourage the child to extend his thinking. Child-directed speech is a specific language structure pattern that adults use with young children to increase their comprehension and partake in communication. When, when conversating with infants, it's important to use speech that is expressive and vary in intonation because it extends the child's attention and interest. Child-directed speech is often in the form of phrases or single words. Repeated words or phrases increases infants' understanding. Teachers should also use consistent concept labels. In child-directed speech, your child tailors the conversation to the child's level of comprehension. When the language of the conversation becomes too complex, toddlers will disengage. Some ways to structure conversations to enhance toddlers' comprehension and responses are to say less, use shorter sentences, repeat words and phrases, speak slowly, which I'm not doing right now, and talk about events and objects in the environment, and use gestures in referring to events. Verbal mapping interaction patterns occur when an adult verbally describes an object or action in a level of detail appropriate to the development level of the child with whom the interaction is occurring. Verbal mapping occurs when a teacher talks to an infant about what is going to happen, what is happening, or what has happened. Verbal mapping can enhance an infant's perceptive language by drawing attention to the teacher's speech and the ongoing events or actions. Verbal mapping occurs as children share discoveries with their teachers, parents, and other adults. Children's receptive language is extended and expanded and serves as a basis for their productive expressive language as well. Verbal mapping is used with toddlers to connect language with ongoing events. When you use language to describe an ongoing event, children learn the language needed to refer to the event and to begin to attach labels to the concepts. What infants take in and understand is receptive language. From the beginning, of course, infants are reacted to being spoken to, but they approach to the pitch and tone rather than the meaning of the words. Later, then they begin to respond to the meaning of behind the words. This response is true receptive language. When children are spoken to in meaningful ways, they understand what's being said to them much earlier than you might expect. The first clear expression or use of a word is expressive language. The key to infants beginning to connect sounds with meaning is the adult responsiveness and the young child opportunity to hear the labels of familiar objects repeated. On this slide, I just have some language development um, from the different ages, from infants to as they get older. This is birth to 3 months. We have hearing, understanding. Child will awaken at loud sounds. Child will listen to speech. Turn to you when you speak. Child will smile when you're spoken to. Child will recognize your voice and quiet down of crying. In talking, child will make pleasure sounds. Child will repeat same sounds a lot. Child will cry differently for different needs. And child will smile when he or she sees you. 4 to 6 months. Um, hearing, hearing and understanding. Child will respond to tone of voice. Child will look around for sounds. Child will notice noise or sound from toys. Talking, child will make gurgling sounds when alone. Child will tell you by sound or gesture to repeat something. Child will use speech or non-crying sounds to get and keep your attention. 7 to 12 months. Child enjoys playing games like peekaboo and patty cake. Child will listen when spoken to. Child will recognize words for common items like juice, cup, dog, um, and talking. Child will use speech or non-crying sounds to get your attention. Child will imitate different speech sounds. Child babbling will have both long and short groups of sounds. 12 to 24 months. Child will follow simple commands. Child will point to a few body parts. Child will point to pictures in a book when they are named. Talking, child can use many different consonant sounds at the beginning of words. Child can put 2 words together, and child can use 1 to 2 word questions. 24 to 36 months, child can follow requests combined. Child will continue to know the sounds. Child will understand different sense and meanings such as go, stop, in, on, up, and down. The talking child will ask for or direct your attention to objects by naming them. Child speech is understood most of the time. Child uses 2 to 3 word sentences to talk about and ask for things. Child has words for almost everything. Um, Children find their language, their rules on their own. They don't need corrections or language lessons. They learn to be a part of real conversations because they have us. Thank you.